You have a number on your telephone. You have an app that presents you with a number. Your savings balance. Probably it is $5,000. Or is it $5,000? Maybe even more. And thinking of this figure, you have a feeling of safety. That says, I am doing something right. I am doing my duty. I am getting ahead. But what about the fact that you are deceived by your feelings? What should the bank of your dreams be? Being the one that's actually ruining your life? Not through fraud, not due to some under-the-carpet charge, but instead of that, something much more subtle and much more harmful. Stay with me, because the thing I'm about to talk about is a concept we live our lives without knowing. Money saving is not risky. As children, we learn it's a good thing. Your mother and father told you. You were told so by your teachers. Everyone you ever knew who wasn't a complete lunatic told you. Put money away. Build your savings. Don't spend all of your money. And it's good advice. But it is incomplete. But so because nobody told you what happens to idle dollars, what becomes of the dollar, no one tells you. When a dollar isn't earning it. And how frequently do you look at your savings account interest rate, United States savings accounts? Between 0.01 and 0.5% a year. 0.01. So you have an account in the savings account that has $10,000 in it. A year to the end, 365 days. The bank will pay you $1 or so. $1. For an entire year. $1,000. And while you're being paid that $1 in interest, all the rest of the stuff you purchase becomes costlier. To give you a really easy example on using plain old, everyday numbers to express in your own savings account, how much you are losing every year. You can watch the video above. Lose not this part. Basic inflation in real terms. You may have heard of inflation on the news, in politics, in everyday conversation, but few of them have it expounded unto them in an easily digestible way. Then we should have a look at an example. Several years back, your cup of coffee at a coffee shop was $2. Those are $3 and even $4 now. The coffee was the same. The cup was not changed. The coffee maker remained the same. But you can purchase less with the dollar in hand. Doesn't go as far as it used to. That is inflation. And it is not as though your money is being stolen, but it can purchase less of it than it used to. Think about groceries. A cart of groceries that would have been $100 a couple of years ago is more apt to go off at $120 or $30. Think about rent. A place to live that would cost $1,500 a month in 2019. Fetches $2,200 or $300 at most places nowadays. This is not a trivial thing. It is a nature force. Is influencing all dollars not earning a sufficient yield. Inflation never rings a bell. It makes no proclamation. Just makes your dollar less and less valuable over time, even if you do not notice. The figures you don't see. Having said that, let us get specific. Since this is where most people begin to light the bulbs. Let's assume you put $1,000 in a savings account. Your bank charges you an interest of 0.5% per year. You will have $1,005 at the close of the year. $5 richer. But your bank statement doesn't tell you something else. Inflation this year was 3 to 4%. So the cash you used when you could have purchased $1,000 worth of stuff now will cost $1,030 or $1,040. You made $5. You lost $30 or $40, however. Your account had an increase. Your riches decreased. Starting balance $1,000. Interest earned plus $5, 0.5% savings rate. Purchasing power change in real terms, minus 30. Total change, minus $30 in purchasing power. You have $1,500 in your account. Looks well on paper, and you are able to purchase $970 worth of stuff. Your account is up $5. You got poorer by $30. Now, times that 5 years and over 10 years. The variance of the dollars in your savings account and what it's worth gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Silently. Without any warning. Without a notification. No one says, oops. The worst part about inflation is that it makes you feel like you are a millionaire, when in fact you are a pauper. Your number is increased. Your electricity goes off. Until, that is, it is too late to do anything about it. Majority of the people are not even aware of it. Why is this hidden? So if this is real, assuming it is, and as the figures tell us it is, then why not common knowledge? Why are millions of honest Americans deposit their cash in savings accounts annually and never even think of it? There are 3 reasons. First, they have faith in banks. There's a familiar security in banks with a symbol that you are familiar with. Your deposits are insured by FDIC. It is not going anywhere. No risk, no volatility, no stress. And it is sweet. But there is nothing like comfort to guarantee growth, and 3 times the taxes annually than all the 1,000 thou savorest. Isn't safety whatsoever. The second reason is that we are not taught this. And remember how many years you spent in school. Algebra, history, literature. And think how many hours were you learning, how inflation works, interest rates, and their impact on your purchasing power. How can you preserve the value of your real estate investment portfolio? Almost none. It is not that our financial system has been reconstructed in ways that are teacher-friendly, and this can cost you a fortune over a lifetime of cash in a lifetime. Third, it's emotional. Looking at your bank account and seeing that it isn't lower feels good. It is like domination. It is as though success. It is like a sense of security. And even when the value of the number is actually diminishing, we feel we have victory. That is how we remember it, since there is nothing sure. And a constant figure on a meter, notwithstanding that it may be inaccurate, is better than nothing. And here it begins to get interesting, because once you know what to do, it's really not that difficult. Stay with me. What the rich do with their money. This is the secret of increasing riches. Some and some not. Rich individuals view their cash as an investment. They put their money to work. When a person has a wealth mentality and possesses money, there are 3 possibilities. They don't ask themselves, where is the safest place? One of them questions, whither shall I lay this that is the most productive? The answer to the first question varies to that of the second. The safe place prevents the number in your account statement from declining. Your spending power grows in the most productive place, even less than it falls down through inflation. So what do these people do? Some buy market index funds. That simply buy and hold a broad index of the stock market and have averaged 7 to 10% per year. Here and here again. Others invest in cash-generating residential real estate. Others invest in high-yield savings accounts, which are not savings accounts, by the way, that now pay 4 or 5%, not 0.01. Interest. Some invest in things that generate an income, such as a business or an education. The specific strategy varies from person to person. The principle is the same, however. They put their money to work, and the earlier they start, the more time they have before compounding will work on them. Compounding is when your money have money on its money. If your dollar compounds at 7%, not only does it get 7 cents the first year, it gets more each year. That's what the rich get started on as soon as they can. This is what you can do this week. The point I want to make here is this. The point of this video is not to take all of your savings and invest it in the stock market the next day. And invest it all in the stock market. That is not the point. Here's the thing. And purpose, effect. These are some of the 3 things you can do today. The first is easy and quick. If you have your money in a savings account at a bank, you can do some research on high-yield savings accounts. So many web banks. Yes, they are safe. They are FDIC-insured. Pay anywhere from 4 to 5% interest. That is 10 to 50 times the interest rate offered by most brick-and-mortar banks. Same money, same federal protection, dramatically better return. This will not require more than 15 minutes. Step 2 is to start educating yourself on investing in index funds. You do not need to possess a financial advisor. Thousands of dollars are unnecessary. Actually, you can begin with a debit of only $1. It has nothing to do with getting rich. What you want to do is invest your money, and where it will grow at a higher rate than the inflation rate. So that, when after a decade or 2, that disparity of your rate of increase and the erosion of inflation is the variation between growing rich and growing nowhere. The third step is to divide your money. You cannot put all of your money to work. You need to keep an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses, in a safe and accessible account. But more money than you need in case of an emergency, money you won't need for 5, 10, or even 20 years. Money has got some work to do, and its job is not to stay put and shrink. Earn more on savings. Find out how to earn 4 to 5% instead of 0.01 on FDIC-insured, higher rate. Discover index funds. Outperform inflation over time, but not stock picking or market timing. Emergency fund independent of growth. Cash is cash in times of emergency. Invest additional cash where possible. The big one. One more thought I will leave. 100 years ago, putting your money under a mattress made sense. 50 years ago, it was not a bad idea to keep your money in a bank deposit account. And these were all sensible things to do at the time. But the world had changes. We all had to learn to live with inflation. The technology available to the average person, not just the elites, instrumentation became far more available. Unluckily, the advice did not develop completely. Good, decent, hard-working folks, so many millions of them, still in the old game, continued to use the same constituencies, untrustful of their money to the institutions of a century ago. And the cost is not a scramble. It is no front-page feature. It is slow. It is quiet. It will not be observed on a Tuesday. But in 10 years or so, it is huge. Now you know. There is nothing to be afraid of your savings account. But it can't be the only one. The salary you made should do you good. And that is what Wealth Storyline is. Not shortcuts. Not overnight promises. The simple, common things of life that we weren't taught when we were children, but that are so significant when you do. And in case this video made any difference to you in terms of saving money, leave a comment below and let me know. How much cash do you have in your Have you a low-interest savings account at this moment? No judgment, just honest curiosity. Because this channel's comments are where we get to talk to each other. If you liked it, then subscribe to Wealth Storyline. We describe the financial concepts each week, that you weren't taught in simple terms. No jargon, no fluff, no empty hype. The difference-making ones. And if you like to continue watching right now, you may now view the following video. It's what to do with your first $1,000 as you are starting out. And I don't think you are rightly guessing. I will see you there.